This brief clip. Okay, those are two police officers right there. And just understand what this guy has: a canister filled with paint, a pump, and is spraying you with, I guess you're lucky that it's only paint, because I mean, it's only a matter of time before there's acid in there or something. And these two cops right here do jack shit. Now I want to bring it up, go back a little later because we get a better see. Right now, this is where I said this guy's laughing at you. Yeah. The guy on the left is laughing.
Yeah, and I call the police station, and I say like, okay, he give me his name briefly. I was like, I cannot understand his name, but I have his badge number. And I called and I say, I'm sorry, I'm putting a deontology complaint against every police officer, the whole team. But at least I have two badge number, and I'm going to put their true name in my complaint. And he say, oh, it's Alexander L. Mustafa. And I was like, oh, maybe that explained why he was laughing at me, like when I got attacked. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's just like in my mind. But I was like, seriously, you look so biased just because, first of all, you did nothing, and you look like you're smiling when I literally got assaulted. And by the way, today, one of the mainstream media got... he went to the other side and he got a full bottle of unidentified liquid on his head.
Oh my God.
But police arrested the guy who did that.
Alexa subsequently in a tweet yesterday corrected that it was not necessarily even reported that the individual who assaulted the other journalist was arrested. I had to start with a longer video to go make sure boxes were checked off in the links that got created on YouTube. I had to go make sure that we were indeed live across. Oh, I wanted to share that with everybody. Whatever, I'll share that tweet with everybody in a second. I had to make sure that we're live across all the planes of the interwebs. Is that across the internet? Let me make sure that we are live on vivabarneslaw.locals.com. I initially set the stream up and then I forgot to include the vivabarneslaw.locals.com because it's a separate button in Rumble Studio. And either I'm missing the way to edit, and so I can add it after the stream is set up, or there isn't a way, in which case they have to create that option for the forgetful ones like myself. So I had to end the stream and start a new one, and it looks like we are good on vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Good. Are we live on the Rumbles? It looks like we are. We got a fun show today, people. The news leading up to the debate, it's coming fast and furious. SCOTUS issued a decision today, not the immunity decision, but a bad decision. And I know what Barnes is going to say. Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate. I now understand the expression. We're live on Rumble. We are live on vivabarneslaw.locals.com. We are live on Twitter. And we are live on CommuTube, the YouTube. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to share that link. I want everyone to put this on blast. We're going to put stuff on blast today. Link to tweets. That moment of the interview yesterday with Alexa Lavoie is revelatory. And it's revelatory because it's going to segue. It's a repetitive because we talked about it yesterday. I'm going to rehash it and emphasize how bloody serious it is. Alexa Lavoie talking about the incident in which she was assaulted by Antifa, pro-Palestine, anti-Israel occupiers at the Victoria Square in Montreal, the newest encampment, physically assaulted in front of two police officers, as we saw in that video clip. Literally there, literally within, 10, say 20 feet. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. A young, relatively frail woman. She's a healthy woman. She's by no means a bodybuilder. Woman assaulted in front of two male armed police officers who do nothing, who sit there with shit-eating grins on their faces. And she goes to get their names, and lo and behold, if one were so inclined to connect dots that might be connected, one might be able to see that there might be some sort of ideological support of the alleged, purported enforcers of the law, aligning them with the apparent, obvious breakers of the law. Somewhat jackass on Twitter says, racist much? Because I say the guy's name is Alexander El Mustafa, according to what Alexa Lavoie discovered. And that might cause some reasonable or unreasonable people to think, this man might be ideologically aligned with the protesters such that he's not intervening in an egregious act of assault in front of his very face at that moment. It's racist if you're an idiot. It's racist if you are a superficial moron who seeks to try to discredit the individual instead of addressing the ideas. If I were to have gone to the other cop's social media, for example, say I found out that the other guy's name, the other cop, his name was, let's just say Jean Chrétien to take a name. Let's just say Pierre Trudeau. Let's just say I found out that guy's name was Pierre Trudeau. And I went to his Facebook account and I saw posts sympathizing with Antifa. I saw posts sympathizing with Occupy Wall Street, whatever. I would probably make the very same connections that perhaps the reason why that other police officer didn't intervene is because he's ideologically aligned with the protesters and doesn't mind seeing a rebel news journalist get assaulted in front of his face. There's nothing racial about it unless you're a stupid moron. And yes, I'm calling people names. It's ideological. Yes, that's the whole point here. What else could explain two strong, buff, young, armed cops sitting by with shit-eating grins on their faces, laughing while a young female French-Canadian journalist is assaulted by Antifa, pro-Palestine, anti-Israeli mob? What could explain that except ideology? Cowardice could explain it. Not much better. Ideology. And that is what we're witnessing right now. We are witnessing the disarming of the Canadian populace, the criminalizing of self-defense, disarming so that the police will be the only ones who will defend you, but they won't defend you. They will leave you to be assaulted by mobs and gangs of lawbreakers. And they won't do it because they seem to be ideologically aligned with the criminals. That's Canada. And as if it wasn't enough that it would be limited to, if only it were only limited to a couple of bad actor police officers. Some might say, Viva, you're being too harsh on them. They're just following orders. Yep. As were all of Hitler's willing executioners. In fact, some of them might not have been following orders. Some of them might just have been doing it out of the goodness of their own hearts. Hitler's willing executioners. They're just following orders. Well, why is it that Valérie Plante, the mayor of Montreal, the vaxxed to the max, collapsing goon, is doing nothing, is issuing stand-down orders? Ask yourself that question. Why is it that François Legault is letting this province go to shit? Ask him that question. But bottom line, if I see an Antifa sympathizer as a police officer not intervening when Antifa is assaulting a woman, I'll draw ideological connections. And if it only ended there, this entire segue is an intro to the actual intro of today's show. I wake up this morning. Who the hell gets a paper anymore? I don't get the paper. I don't always get the paper, like the physical, disgusting paper. You flip the pages, they tear. You get black ink on your hands. It smells bad. It's always humid. But I got it today, and I looked at it, and the cover page was. I don't want to spoil the punchline here. This was the cover page of the Montreal Gazette. Montreal Gazette since 1778. Oh, I thought it said 1776. June 26, 2024. All right. Okay. So we got a picture here. Oh, I was like, oh, look at that. It says underneath, this is the cover page, the front page of the newspaper. Protesters attached a Palestinian flag to the statue of Queen Victoria outside their encampment at Victoria Square. A city worker removed the flag later Tuesday, along with a strap that appeared to have been used in an attempt to topple the statue the previous evening. John Mahoney. Victoria Square camp vows to stay. Counter demonstrators tell city to halt encampment protesters. All right. So I look at this picture, and I was like, oh, so it's just a flag stuck in the statue's arm, and a rope that they were using apparently to topple it. No biggie, no harm, no foul. They didn't topple it, and they took the flag away. A city worker removed the flag. You all know that classic piece of propaganda. Let me see where it is. It's the classic image of propaganda, right? You get, oh, look at the. I mean, it's used in the context of, oh, the poor tyranny, the boot on. What type of terrible police officer would be doing this in China? I don't know where this is. Oh, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, that's the propaganda picture, and this is the reality picture. So I look at that picture. I'm like, oh, I know the truth because I was there. I know the truth because I made a little video that I didn't know was going to serve as evidence at calling out the Montreal Gazette's egregious, malicious, enemy of the people propaganda. Look at this. So that's the picture, right? Well, that's the statue. It's terrible. Look at the vandalism. A flag in its hand. Oh, the only problem is that ain't the entire statue. That's the base of the statue. That's the portion. They cropped it. I don't know if you can see it. They cropped it right where the cursor is. Go down. What do you see? Oh, a little bit more than just a city worker removing the flag. Go down even lower. Oh, what do we see here? This says Campement Populaire Al Samoud. Then you got Make Nazi Dead Again, spray painted on with a stencil. You got Free Palestine, Fuck the Crown, more graffiti, more paint, more destruction or vandalism or damage to this statue. But if you were not to know that, and you're just, a elderly man, elderly woman living in Montreal, and you get the newspaper and you're like, oh, look, those rapscallions put a flag in the hand of the protester and the city workers removed it, so no harm, no foul. Oh my God, what the hell is actually going on here? Why would the Gazette be doing this? Like, what? The Gazette might not be concealing this because they're ideologically aligned with the protesters. They might be doing this because they are dependent on the government, whose incompetence and corruption is being brought to the fore right now. So the media needs to cover for the government, and the government, I don't think the government has much of a problem siding with Antifa. It's nice to cause havoc. And some of you out there might be saying, Viva, you're complaining about the flag while genocide is going on. First of all, there are two separate discussions to be had here. And there's genocide and violence and wars that are going on throughout the world, have been forever and probably will be forever. And I won't get into attacking the intentions of people who didn't seem to give one sweet bugger all about any of this until recently, who didn't seem to care about the Syrian refugee crisis or the Syrian wars, or who didn't care about what's going on in Ethiopia. They don't give a sweet bugger all until it's until it's a crisis, until it's a conflict that they can weaponize politically. I won't get into intentions, but there's two separate discussions to have here. One is the substance of what's going on in Israel and Gaza and with the Palestinians. And the other is what the hell is going on here in the West. One is a foreign conflict, and it's a very, very serious issue. And it's a little bit more complex than most people understand. People think the war in Russia started in 2022, and people think the conflict in Gaza started October 7th. But there are two separate discussions, and one I'm not going to really get involved in because it doesn't go anywhere, and the other one I will because I'm going to put them on blast. You have the media running hardcover for a government that seems to be issuing standout orders to its police while disarming the population and allowing all hell to break loose on the streets. Why would that be happening? So I'm going to put that on blast. Montreal Gazette, I filed an ethics complaint, or I filed a complaint with, I don't know, whatever press thing I could Google, filing a complaint against the news. It's egregious propaganda of the highest order. And it's not just that, the absolute hypocrisy. Do you remember what happened? Oh, they removed the flag and took it away. Oh, let's ignore the vandalism on the bottom part. Let's ignore what they're saying on the bottom. Let's ignore the spray paint, the graffiti. Let's ignore that, but they took the flag out of its hand. I'm sorry, I seem to remember a certain Ottawa trucker protest where the fact that they had put a Canadian flag in the arms of Terry Fox was deemed to be vandalism of the Terry Fox Memorial. I'm old enough to remember that. That was not vandalism at the time. Putting a flag in a statue is never vandalism as far as I'm concerned. So I'm not holding a different standard to the 2S LGBTQIA+ that put gay pride flags in the Terry Fox Memorial, which they did. Not vandalism then. Sure as hell wasn't vandalism when the truckers did it. And had that encampment only put a Palestinian flag in the hands of Queen Victoria, wouldn't call it vandalism either. But they sure as hell called it vandalism when the truckers did it. Oh, but don't worry, someone took the flag away, and they'll spend the next 3 weeks trying to spray down with high pressure hoses and remove the spray paint and the Make Nazis Dead and the Fuck the Crown. We'll try to get that down in the next coming weeks. Good afternoon, everybody. Probably don't need quite this much iced coffee, but I'm doing it. FTW. I was in the car with someone today who's like, FJB edition. What does that mean? It's like, you don't know what FJB edition means? Wonderful, beautiful naivete. Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to have a fun show today. It's it's wild. You know, while we're on the topic of government corruption and government incompetence and government really by no means looking out for the best interest of their citizenry, and pretty much by all accounts doing everything they can to mess things up, we might want to be worried about the next thing, because the next thing will be coming. There's no H in will, so that's a absolutely wrong use of the W. Listen up, people. If you're not stockpiling medications after what we've been through, you're setting yourself up for disaster. The government does not care about you. It does not care about me. It cares about itself and its lobbyists and its cronies, period. The warning signs are everywhere with this bird flu in the headlines. The FDA commissioner just went out on record saying, and I'm quoting, "The real worry is that it will jump from human lungs, where when that has happened in other parts of the world, the mortality rate has been 25%. You've got to trust them now, people. We got to have testing, got to have antivirals, and we need to have a vaccine ready to go, because the last one worked out so bloody well. Could things be more transparent? Could they be more transparent about what they're doing? Dr. Eric Ding, COVID-10 expert, says, I would start stockpiling flu medicines like Tamiflu for your family starting now. If bird flu is ever human-to-human transmissible, you will regret it when you're near when the shortage hits. It is our personal responsibility to be prepared. And fortunately, you can get medications like Tamiflu easily without having to book an appointment at a doctor. Save the trip, save the money. There's money involved, but it'll be less. The Wellness Company has developed the Contagion Emergency Kit, a prescription-only stockpile of the life-saving medication, including Tamiflu, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and Z-Pak. Do you have what your family needs the next time around? Because there will be a next time around, and doctors won't even consider prescribing ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine, but we've got you covered. Easily ordered online, the one-of-a-kind prescription Contagion Emergency Kit from the Wellness Company. Each prep kit provides you with a carefully selected assortment of effective medications for bird flu, other respiratory illnesses. It includes ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, Z-Pak, Tamiflu, budesonide, along with the nebulizer. Rest easy knowing that you have the meds on hand with a guidebook for safe use. Backed by the research of doctors like Dr. Peter McCullough, every American should have at least one of these kits in their home. Avoid the chaos, wait times, and price gouging. Have one of these. Go to twc.health/Viva. Grab your Contagion Emergency Kit right now. twc.health/Viva. Code VIVA. 10% off plus free shipping. Kits are only available in the USA. So for my Canadian counterparts who are living through the most egregious abuses ever, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. I'm reading the chat and people say, I can't believe it. Honor 234, what the F? I couldn't effing believe it's in bed. What are we talking about here? All right. Now, because we can do this, look at this. We're using Rumble Studio again today. Ginger Ninja says, I don't get to catch you live as much as I used to, but I watch almost all replays. Just here to give you a couple more shekels. By the way, I'm going to make a Rumble video about how much you're wrong. Good luck. It'll be fun. I don't mind being wrong. Hold on. There's a second one from Ginger Ninja. On your instincts on the SCOTUS. There you go. Extreme Risk Protection Order decision. You will agree with me after you watch it. Waves hand to use the force. We're going to talk about the SCOTUS decision today. Pontius Pilate. I understand what Barnes is saying whenever he says it now. Viva. Tommy Robinson got arrested in Calgary on Monday night. Steve, I talked about it yesterday. I flipped I flipped Tommy the link if he can pop in. I don't know if he's going to be able to, but love to talk to him about it. Why is everything now deemed a crisis? Gaza, Ukraine, gun violence, etc. Because when you declare an emergency, you get to bypass and utterly ignore fundamental constitutional God-given rights. Live in a perpetual state of chaos and a perpetual state of crises, and everything becomes an excuse to usurp what ought to have been God-given rights and not government-decreed privileges. Let's see if I can say this. Baruch haba David, am ze balach, im ze balach, im ze ba lech, natsa beichad lishtot kus bira ushtim. Ushatime. So something one or the other. I'll have to go back. MS Sidloy, I'll have to go back to that afterwards. All right, so we're talking the Supreme Court decision. We're going to talk, I did the intro about putting that Gazette on blast with their propaganda. It's wild. And we're going to talk about the upcoming debate. And what else did I have on the backdrop here? Let me see if I can see this here. Fun stuff. Let's talk about the debate thing now. Everybody, this is why I should never invest in the market and certainly never invest on my own. I get obsessive compulsive if you haven't already known. And I have been following the predicted market for a long time. And why I'm such an idiot. There has been, for anybody who's been watching, there has been a wild push, or at least a wild run, for Vivek Ramaswamy to be the VP pick. Like, Vivek went from 8 cents yesterday when I sold Vivek to buy Doug Burgum. He went from 8 cents to like 20 cents, and now he's back down to 15. JD Vance has been hovering around 2, and Doug Burgum is the number 1 leading, but not really going anywhere. The debate is coming up tomorrow night, and everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about what a setup, what a trap it is for Donald Trump, as if he's not ready for this, and hopefully he has to be, as though you can expect anything remotely objective from these scoundrels at CNN. Jake Tapper's hosting, and they've put together the supercut of Jake Tapper comparing Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler.
The dehumanizing rhetoric of Adolf Hitler is once again alive and well on a national political stage.
Can you understand I'm going to replay this, and I'm going to shut my big mouth while I play it. The dehumanizing rhetoric, like Adolf Hitler, is now on stage. Some might say calling Donald Trump, who clearly is not Adolf Hitler, is itself dehumanizing rhetoric. Hashtag confession through projection. Or who said it? James Lindsay, the iron law of woke projection. The dehumanizing rhetoric of these Nazi, extreme MAGA, Republican, Hitler-loving cultists, the extreme dehumanizing rhetoric of those scumbag, scoundrel cockroaches is really making it to the fore. Watch us tonight on CNN. Okay, I'm going to shut my mouth.
The dehumanizing rhetoric of Adolf Hitler is once again alive and well on a national political stage. This time, of course, in the United States. Donald Trump, a couple times over the weekend, referred to immigrants from South America, Africa, and Asia. He did not mention Europe. South America, Africa, and Asia as, quote, poisoning the blood of our country, which it's not hyperbole. That does very directly echo Adolf Hitler's language before World War II. To open up a copy of Hitler's Mein Kampf, you would find the Nazi leader describing the mixing of non-Germans with Germans as poisoning. There's really no other way to say it. Donald Trump's language mirrors this directly.
Do you understand? He's faulting Trump for mixing of blood.
Describing the mixing of non-Germans with Germans as poisoning.
I hate doing this. Donald Trump's family has mixed its blood with Jewish people. Ivanka married Jared Kushner. Jake Tapper, Jake the fake Tapper, who's going to be hosting the debate, is accusing Trump of being Hitlerian, using Hitlerian tropes of blood mixing, when Trump's own family has mixed blood in a number of respects, but with Jews. So anyways, that's Jake Tapper. He's the scumbag of all scumbags, a scumbag extraordinaire, as we would say. Let me see here, because this is Tapper. Here we go. Is Tapper's voice what one would call cloying or just puke-inducing? I think it's the male version of vocal fry. It's the weenie dweeb. I think if I talk like this with my sinuses, it makes me sound smarter. Yeah, I don't like Jake Tapper. I mean, he's a scoundrel of the highest order. And when you use rhetoric comparing someone who's clearly not Hitler to Hitler, you are using the very dehumanizing rhetoric that you're accusing them of using. And worse still, you are giving the political permission slip to nutbags and whack jobs across the country. Nutbags and whack jobs have never sounded so dirty put together. Nutbags and whack jobs across the country to do what any rational person would do to stop the ascension of someone like Hitler. They know it. They know it. So there's no question about that. I got distracted with a comment, which I'm not going to entertain. So Jake Tapper, that's the man who's going to be hosting the debate. I thought I wanted to talk about it yesterday, and then I think I don't know how I forgot to. The debate rules, for those who don't know, Biden and Trump, they've agreed on the debate rules. It's going to be tomorrow night. I'm gonna be live streaming it. I don't know if I want to take the chance and just tell YouTube to go F themselves, because apparently they're going to be issuing DMCA takedown notices for copyright violation, even though this is a public presidential debate. And most people who are going to be live stream commentating on it are going to be doing fair use commentating, even though they apparently have given authorization to mainstream media outlets to stream it. And in which case, I would argue that there might be some, even to the extent that there could be any form of copyright that it's been relinquished or surrendered or made public domain by granting, free use to others. It doesn't matter. Apparently, YouTube is going to, according to Tim Pool, Steven Crowder. So do I try to poke that bear and make a point, which I wouldn't mind doing, or we'll just do it on Rumble and StreamYard and deal with whatever happens. StreamYard, what the hell am I talking about? Rumble and vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Either way, we'll see about that. The rules. Biden and Trump campaign agree to mic muting, podiums among rules of upcoming debate. Just get the gist of the debates. The debate will be hosted by Jake Tapper, CNN, and Dana Bash. All right. Okay. 90 minutes. Commercial breaks. There will be no crowd. Both candidates agreed to appear at a uniform podium. Podium positions will be determined by a coin flip. Big deal. Microphones will be muted throughout the debate, except for the candidate whose turn it is to speak. We'll see how that gets abused. While no props or pre-written notes will be allowed on the stage, candidates will be given a pen, a pad of paper, and a bottle of water. I would love to see Joe Biden's notes at the end of the debate. Some aspects of the debate, including the absence of a studio audience, will be a departure from previous debates. Yada yada yada. Okay. And then the question: RFK is not making the debate because he didn't meet the threshold. Yada yada yada. Those are the rules. Okay. Everybody's out there saying this is going to be an absolute setup for Trump. Easy ways that they can set this up for Trump. They're going to be Jake Tapper is going to have an earbud in the entire time, going to be ready to fact check everything that Donald Trump says. They might abuse the mute button. We'll see about that. But bottom line, look, Trump knows they're going to be out there to fact check him and make him look like an idiot. So he's got to make sure to keep his statements simple, statements of fact simple. The problem with these idiot fact checkers is they can't distinguish between opinion, rhetoric, and an assertion of fact. They fact check opinions. The world wasn't in a state of peace in 2020. That's somewhat of a statement of opinion or a broader assessment. But they'll fact check opinions because they're idiots. They're going to be real-time fact checking on Trump, and it won't be reciprocated to Biden for sure. They're going to be propping Biden up, asking him, I presume, leading questions, giving him chances to fill in the blanks because there will be blanks, and they will not be doing the same for Trump. Trump's got to know that. He's got to anticipate that. Keep it simple. And if I'm Trump, I'm bringing up Ashley Biden diary now being confirmed to be real. Therefore, confirmed that Joe Biden, in Ashley's own estimation, might have molested her, took showers with her at an inappropriate age, election interference. I bring up the Hunter Biden laptop because remember, go back and pull up the highlights from the last time where Joe Biden said that laptop was Russian information, disinformation. Go pull those up. Repeat those clips and hound him on this now. The most compromised first family in the history of America. All right, so bring all that up. Trump's going to know it. He's a smart guy, and he's going to do absolutely fine. Everybody is saying that this is going to be a sabotage of Trump. And I'm having the relatively novel idea, and I'm putting my money where my mouth is. This is going to be a deliberate and overt sabotage of Joe Biden. Like when the Washington Post, one of the Wall Street Journal, one of the big ones, says, we've really got to start talking about Joe Biden's cognitive decline. I have a feeling that they are putting this on blast for the most epic, the most public meltdown, collapse of a candidate where even he's going to have to say, I'd better pull out because I'm sorry, I can't do it. I'm too old. Or they're going to make it that he has to be pulled out, and they're going to fill him in with his doppelganger, 40 years younger, Gavin Newsom. That's what I genuinely believe that it's a longer shot prediction. And if it turns out to be true, I get to say I'm the smartest man in the room. And if it turns out not to be true, I get to say it was a long shot prediction. They're doing this to publicly humiliate Joe Biden so they can credibly, plausibly, and without blame remove him from the ticket and swap him out for someone like Gavin Newsom. Okay. What was I about to say about that? So the rules of the debate, and it's going to happen tomorrow night. Now, hold on a second. I seem to have lost my train of thought. Oh, cripe. Well, I forgot. So that is what's going to happen tomorrow night. That was it. Jacking him up on drugs. Okay. Sorry. Got a little distracted. Speaking of Adderall, I am not on Adderall or any medication except caffeine and the occasional martini. Everybody's also saying there was talk, like, is Trump going to insist on a drug test? And John J. Harwood, who's just gone full Pravda government mouthpiece, is calling it lunacy that people are suggesting that they're going to jack Joe Biden up with enough drugs so that he'll plow through this debate, skate through, with enough vigor so that he'll say, oh, they can tell him as a winner, like he did during the Crimson, what was that? This Crimson speech that he gave. State of the Union. No, it wasn't State of the Union, but you know what I'm talking about. That Crimson where he's a frothing at the mouth, raging lunatic, like psychotic. And I say, first of all, that was like a year ago. Second of all, this is a debate, not a monologue. There are not enough drugs on the universe to jack Joe Biden up enough to have him skate through or survive this debate. I don't think it's humanly possible. So I think he's going down in flames. And it's like if this is being touted as like a UFC match, and entertainment, but this is being touted as entertainment while the world literally burns. And so there's a bit of sad, tragic irony to all of this. We're looking at I don't place Donald Trump with Joe Biden in terms of any form of cognitive ability. They're not two old men. There's a man with experience, and there is a man who belongs in a nursing home. And I say that with respect to old people who are entering their second childhood. Joe Biden has now entered like his fourth childhood. But there's not enough drugs on earth that they can jack Joe Biden up with. He can't come out like a frothing at the mouth lunatic like he did during that Crimson speech. And it's a debate, and it's not going to go well. I'm calling it now, so you know where to go. This is the day before. I will be live with Barnes tomorrow night, and we'll be watching it in real time. Only on Rumble. And I don't think I have anything more to add to that coming up tomorrow, except that Jake Tapper is a scoundrel and Casey Hunt is worse. Stay in Rumble and Twitter sandbox. This is not a good battle to have. By using Rumble and Twitter, you provide a great comparison contrast. Clark, I also think you're right. Like, it's sort of like, wanting to go and prove a point by doing a man on the street interview with people who are not reasonable. YouTube is looking for an excuse to abuse of copyright to take down channels. There's no question. It's pretextual. Enjoy picking a fight that's going to be more of a headache for you to fight than for them to fight. So that's it. And also, forget YouTube. I'm not interested in driving traffic there. We're going to drive it to the free speech platform. It's going to be Rumble, and it's going to be vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Now, am I seeing the tips come up in... Okay, those are the tips there. I can see it. Okay, awesome. So that's going on with the debate tomorrow night. It's going to be fun. Oh, shoot. I'm going to be doing a podcast with Pantelis tomorrow at some point. So stay tuned for that. All right. I think that's all I got for that. Now, speaking of, do we vote with our feet and with our dollar right now? I say we do. Let's go over to Rumble and let's go over to Rumble. But there was something I wanted to do while we were on Rumble and YouTube. Before we go, we're going to thank our second sponsor of the day, Brickhouse Nutrition, people. Let me see here. What are my nutritional goals? Support my daily goals. Unlock 50. Okay, can we? Okay, well, I can't refer. Come on here. Field of Greens, people. Brickhouse Nutrition. Our second sponsor is another one that I love, that I use when I'm on the road and I have trouble finding raw fruits and veggies. I go to Field of Greens. It's a little known fact, everybody. You're supposed to have between 5 and 7 servings of raw fruits and vegetables a day. I'm in Montreal now. I'm not really on the road, so I can get them. And I had a ton of arugula, but most people do not. I had a ton of arugula for breakfast. Arugula, salami fried with eggs. It was delicious. You're supposed to have between 5 and 7 servings of raw fruits and vegetables a day, and most people do not. Most people do not have a healthy lifestyle. No judgment, but fix it, because it's the easiest thing to control what you put in your body. If you cannot have, and even if you do have your 5 to 7 servings of raw fruits and vegetables a day, Field of Greens is the thing to do. A small regret is slouching in the dentist chair thinking, I should have brushed or flossed better. A big health regret is not listening to your doctor and thinking, I should have paid attention to my nutrition when I was younger. Better health today, and when it matters, is most why. I exercise, I eat my veggies, and I swap out bad habits for the healthy habit of Field of Greens twice a day. It is not a supplement. It is not an extract. It is a food. It is USDA organic. It is made in America. It tastes delicious. It looks like swamp water, but that's because it's rich in nutrients like swamp water is. One spoonful has 1 serving of fruits and vegetables. You have it twice a day. You're going to have at least 2 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Swap out a disgusting aspartame, sucralose, stevia-filled chemical drink. Have something healthy that is good for your body and support Made in America. It's delicious. It's healthy. You get all the nutrients, antioxidants, et cetera, The link, Field of Greens, brings you to Brickhouse Nutrition. Promo code Viva gets you 15% off. Let me make sure that I don't actually promise something that I... 15% off. Thank goodness. Otherwise, I got to eat that myself. 15% off and free shipping. It's delicious. Do your body a favor and get Field of Greens. The links are in the description. And before we head over to Rumble, I talked about it yesterday, but we'll do the Judge Marshall. It's like you think this all couldn't be scripted any more than it is scripted. Isn't it amazing? Like the day before, 2 days before the debate, they don't want to look like they're engaging in lawfare. And if Trump were to show up to the debate gagged by Judge Marchand's gag order, even though the verdict has been rendered, if he were to show up under a full gag order, it would look like election interference. It would look like lawfare. So just the day, it was yesterday, the judge lifts 2 conclusions of that gag order, A and C, and leaves conclusion B, which precludes Trump from speaking ill of the judge, his family, Alvin Bragg, his family, or the court and their family. So Donald Trump can't call out the state corruption without risking violating the gag order. And by the way, knowing that CNN is there to sabotage him, what are they going to do? I predicted it on Twitter yesterday. They are going to ask him a great many questions about how he feels about what he's described as lawfare, malicious prosecution, in the hopes of getting him to violate that gag order so that Judge Marchand can then come in after and say, oh my goodness, I'm getting so many threats because of what you said during the debate. Me and Alvin Bragg, me and Soros-funded Alvin Bragg, and my daughter's getting threats also because she's running authentic PR, raising money for Adam Schiff. And Schiff is getting threats now because of that debate. Lock him up. Guaranteed. That's going to happen. That's going to be an attempt, or at least it'll be a happy coincidence. But at least it won't look like they're engaging in lawfare because they lifted, 2 of the 3 conclusions of the gag order, much to the chagrin of convicted perjurer Michael Cohen, who took to Twitter to whine and bitch and piss and moan about it yesterday. But that was it. It's all a trap. It is all the most dirtiest third world kangaroo court, Eastern European, communistic, fascistic abuse of law, abuse of the media, and merger, the holy trinity of evil, government, media, and corporations, all working together to usurp what was otherwise democracy. Okay, we're ending it on let me just see something here. I wanted to go here and read some of the chat. Have you talked about SCOTUS yet? Just jumped in, says Berserker. If you want to, Berserker. That's from the movie Clerks, if I'm not mistaken. Berserker, no, I have not talked about it yet. We're going to talk about it over on Rumble. YouTube is asshole, says Zanny Magron, at Zanny Magroin. King of Biltong in the house, but hold on. King of Biltong. Okay, I was going to say, I didn't see the comment. Let's put this up here for a second. Good afternoon from Anton's Meat and Eat. 10% off with code VIVA10 for your biltong on www.biltongusa.com or antonusa.com. Eat some biltong. Vote for Trump. Be America first. We are stocked on game biltong. Okay, do it. Biltong, thank you very much. You made it just in time. I'm going to unpin that, and we are going to now... Yeah, we'll end this on both. Okay, so hold on one second. I go like this. And I go Rumble and Locals, and we will end it on YouTube. The entire stream will be posted on Viva Clips. Stay tuned for a standalone Viva Frei car vlog at some point today, probably on the SCOTUS decision, just to narrow it down for a short video. Updating, ending on YouTube, ending on Twitter. See you on Rumble. See you on vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Booyah. I'm looking at the chat here just so I can read something while I drink my coffee. What does this say? MSNBC chats are wild. Don't underestimate these people. It really is. It's not almost. It is scary. Entering the silo of these lunatics. Watch this. Well, actually, no. John J. Harwood is getting nailed even in his own discussions. Oh, we're gonna have fun. Okay. Hold on. Look, everybody, I have a dirty sense of humor. I enjoy raunchy comedies. I enjoy, Chris Rock when he was funny stand-up. I enjoy. Has everyone seen Eurotrip? Like, I enjoy childish, juvenile, crude, crass humor, but I'm an adult, and I'm not allowed partaking in that as an adult because it gets weird. But I'm going to make fun of Jasmine Crockett. I mean, Jasmine Crockett is the perfect example of oh shitballs. Now I'm going to look like the idiot. What's it called when people think they're smarter than they are? Oh no, I'm totally brain farting. Guys, what's it called when it's the I'm going to go to the chat. You guys are going to get it. It's the thing when people who are dumb don't know they're dumb. And Dunning-Kruger, thank you very much. Okay, they're Dunning-Kruger. That wasn't going to come anytime soon. The Dunning-Kruger effect. It was from, I think, Full Metal Jacket. You know, the dead don't know that they're dead. I forget what movie it was from, where the dead, the insane, and the stupid have one thing in common. They don't know that they are. Jasmine Crockett is one of those people who is dumb and just doesn't know it. And there's many of them, and they seem to be a lot of politicians for whatever reason. But listen to this. Listen to this, and I'm going to not make the eyelash joke, but I'm thinking it the entire time.
I think my colleague from South Carolina...
I'll just start this again. She posted this. Jasmine Crockett posted this thinking it made her look good. Like, she's adopting the Marjorie Taylor Greene billboard style. Like, everybody wants to shit on Marjorie Taylor Greene because she comes in with props and ploys. And yet they go and imitate it. Imitation is the highest form of admiration. It's wonderful. But do it properly and don't be an idiot when you do it. Look at this.
I think my colleague from South Carolina may have gotten confused about who said what, but these are things that Trump has said about she. Smart.
Nobody ever would get confused about who said what about whom.
Smart, brilliant, everything perfect. We love each other. President Xi, who's a friend of mine, who's a very, very good man. There's nobody like that. The look, the brain, the whole thing. My feeling towards you is an incredibly warm one. This doesn't sound like someone that has any intentions of being hard on China, in my opinion. I think my colleague...
First of all, the emphasis on hard on.
This doesn't sound like someone that has any intentions of being hard on.
Meme right there to Donald Trump, and you know exactly which one. This is why children should not be allowed to govern. This is why, I mean, I get you end up being governed by your inferiors when you don't get involved in politics. Idiots who don't I mean, there's a certain sense of politics. You know, you have to. Flattery is a good way of getting things. You got to be nice. You don't go around just calling people names for the sake of it. It doesn't yield positive results. Also, I would be very interested in fact checking each and every one of those statements context, because nothing like taking something out of context from people who complain about it but do it all the time. Just reading the chat. But this is how children thinks politics are played. Bad men call bad men bad names and start fights with bad men, even if they have nuclear powers. And this is why Jasmine Crockett will always be a useless politician who will get into fights over eyelashes and contribute nothing of value to the world of politics. But I was thinking, it's like hard on. It's like, you know that you're putting an emphasis where you should not be doing it. And if you don't know how the internet works, I will be making sure that everybody knows that there's a funny meme. There's a funny meme to be had in there. And if you get like a Shmoyoho type of remix, like hard on, you mix that with Kamala Harris, don't come with Donald Trump, and you've got a top 10 chart blockbuster hitter there. Hold on before I bring the next one up. Let me see if I go to donations. Good afternoon. Okay, so look at that. That's good. Okay, I'm just checking to see if the donate. I can see all the donos, as Govea calls them. So there is AOC is another idiot. I mean, oh my god, it doesn't matter. Thank you for the segue. Trigger 44. Hold on. Trigger 44 says AOC is an idiot. She's an idiot. Also Dunning-Kruger. Like, they think that you can fake it until you make it when it comes to knowledge and intelligence. You can't. You can fake it until you break it, and then people know that you're a moron. But the man also who couldn't distinguish between a fire escape and an emergency handle, Jamal Bowman, just lost his race yesterday. I gotta show you this because it's absolutely wild. And you know, I got in trouble. People said, "Viva, you're relying on fake news." Yada yada. Excuse me. Yesterday, they had I don't want to say a by-election. I know what they're called in the States. I forget the word, but there was an election yesterday, or a race yesterday. And okay, here we go. And Dom Luker, let me just make sure I'm going to bring up my own Twitter feed here. Dom Luker brings up a tweet and says, this is last night, 18 hours ago. I'm walking the dog. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Democrat fire alarm specialist and friend to AOC rep Jamal Bowman just officially lost his election to George Latimer. This makes former Rep Bowman the official first member of the squad to lose an election. I wonder how he lost. Let me play this video, and then we're going to get into the fun stuff after this. Okay, let's watch this. I'm going to drink my coffee, too. By the way, that is Rep Tom Massey, whom I believe I like.
Allows teachers to carry
guns,
performative for the sake of performative. Performance over substance. Talk like you know people are listening, because that's how you're going to get the attention, Rep Bowman. Could not have happened to a better, more deserving former politician.
Allows teachers to carry
guns, more guns lead to more death. Look at the data. You're not looking at any data. You're carrying the water for the gun lobby. Look at the data. More guns lead to more deaths. States that have open carry laws have more death.
In every school,
States that have open carry laws have more death. Are you listening to what I'm saying?
Dude, I don't think anybody cannot hear what you're saying.
Dying. 9-year-olds.
Look at this.
The solution is not arming teachers. Have you ever worked in a school? Have you ever worked?
This confirms the theory. Bill Brown, I'm looking at you now. You cannot have reasonable discussions with unreasonable people because they're not there for anything but ideological destruction. Let's quit. Okay. Anyways, Rep Bowman is out. So Dom Luker, let me hold on. Let me go here. Oh gosh, what did I just do? Okay, let me go here. Where am I? Here. Refresh. So Dom Luker, oh, for goodness sake, I just lost it. Okay, hold on a second. He posts that Rep Bowman just lost his race. Okay. Oh yeah, no, that is what I said. So I said, let me just bring this up here. Do this once and for all. I said, I Googled, like, oh, interesting. And I go to the New York Times, and this is real time. It said like updated at 9:06. At 9:06 last night, I was like, oh, Jamal Bowman's got 80% and George Latimer's got 20%. I was like, oh, where are you getting this? The only thing I see is that he's up, that he's losing. And then people are like, oh, no. Well, they show me an MSNBC article that says that George Latimer's up. Look at this, by the way. 9:06. I hope I got the time. It was 5 minutes later. Oh, yeah, no, it's 50. So look at this. Look at this. It's unbelievable. Like what the New York Times, this is back to the enemy of the people and disinformation for the sake of it. At 9:06, they're reporting 80% for Jamal Bowman. At 9:23, 55% for Latimer. Washington Post, I don't have the time here, but it's roughly the same time. 60% for Latimer. And then a few minutes before that, hold on a second. Oh, well, I screwed up my screen grabs, but they have the same thing. So bottom line, Bowman's out, and we are witnessing in real time the downfall of people who are now known to be idiots, morons, and destroyers of the Western world. In Canada, we talked about it the other day. What's her face? Leslie Church, Liberal, lost her by-election to the Conservative candidate in the most liberal of strongholds in Canada. In Canada, the Liberals are red and the Conservatives are blue. So it's sort of the inverse of the States. But, you know, Conservatives in Canada are barely conservative at all. But so you see like a sea of red, but that's Liberal up in Canada. And then this blue dot right in the middle, this riding that's gone Liberal for the last 30 years. Leslie Church, Liberal candidate, endorsed by Satan herself, Chrystia Freeland, loses. And it's like, people are blaming it on vote splitting because the NDP candidate got 4,000 votes. Who cares? She lost. Ask what they thought of this. This is Rebel News. Watch this. This is fantastic. Hold on one second. Here we go. This is it. This Rebel News reporter goes to the office and asks them what they think about the loss. This is in Canada. Listen to this.
I'm surprised. She was leading by 700 and then woke up this morning and it was about 590 for Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that is?
The Jews.
I think there was electoral interference by Melissa Lansman.
The Jews.
She sent letters to the Jewish community to vote for conservative.
What are your guys' thoughts on the election results from last night? Why do you think he's
I'm surprised.
But
she was leading by 700.
I cannot get over this. This is right here. This is the image of liberal Canada. This is the quintessential paradigm of liberalism in the West. Leslie Church, did anybody check on this man to make sure that he's alive? Like, I'm not making fun. This is the sad reality of liberal policy in Canada. There's a homeless person sleeping in the hallway of their headquarters while the liberal candidate volunteer blames the Jews. And I'm not sensitive to blame the Jews. I mean, you can't blame people for making certain connections. And I can go into a diatribe that'll just get me into trouble with friends and family, so I won't for the time being. I'm not sensitive to the blaming of the Jews. It's just the ultimate irony. The Liberal Party, who accuses everybody of being racist, bigots, homophobes, xenophobes, transphobes, anti-Semites, Islamophobes, blames the Jews, while there might very well be a dead man living in the corridor of their office, because that's liberalism.
I'm surprised. She was leading by 700 and then woke up this morning and it was about 590 for Stewart.
Watch
what do you think that is?
I think there was electoral interference by Melissa Lansman. She sent letters to the Jewish community to vote for conservative.
What are your guys' thoughts on the election
They can't open their door.
results from last night?
They can't open their door because there's a body in front of it.
Why do you think he's
Okay, hold on a second. And now, just to satisfy my curiosity right now, Psalm 139:16. Let me see here. We're going to take the James King James version. Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, and in thy book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them. Crap, I don't understand a word of what I just read. Let me try another one. Your eyes saw my unformed substance, in your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there was none of them. All right, chat, I'm going to need your aggregate knowledge to explain what the heck I'm reading. Who in a comment can give the most concise synopsis of what that means? I feel so disgusted. Let me see, is this the one? I feel so disgusted with the Trudeau liberals and the morons that support them have done to my country. Plant your seeds. Let me see this here. I love it. Oh, no. Don't put on timer. Here. Stop it. My fat fingers. I can't. The successful campaign of coercion, in this case, to stand as an attractive model for future officials who want to control what the people say, hear, and think. Okay, and I'm going to try this here. Remind me, people, I have to tell them that the chat has to stop scrolling. The chat has to stop scrolling when I'm talking about a baby. It's talking about a baby in the womb. Pasha Moyer. Okay, thank you very much. All right, well, that's what's going on in Canada. We are witnessing, we're witnessing a revolution, at least a revulsion. A revulsion? A revulsion? Revolting? We are witnessing revolting against revolting politicians across the country, across the world, and it's painfully obvious because they've ruined. PP won't do any better. He's a socialist too, says Honor 234. He won't. Look, I don't trust PP. That's Pierre Poilievre, everybody. I don't trust the conservatives any more than I can throw them. They might, at the very least. The only thing that makes the conservatives slightly better than the liberals, and this is my theory, and you're free to disagree with it. The liberals are tyrants. They want to dominate, they want to coerce, and they want to submit. The conservatives are opportunists, and they can be swayed with the political popular tide. That's the only difference. Liberals are just closet tyrants, period. And conservatives want power and control, but are more amenable to public sentiment than liberals. They don't want. They realize you can't compel compliance, and they will go with the winds of whatever's politically popular at the time. That's my criticism of Pierre Poilievre, but that might also be his utility. Pierre didn't support the trucker protests until it was popular to do so. Then he did. Went out for breakfast with the truckers, took some pictures, photo ops. And then when it was popular to support the trucker protest, he did. And then when it became unpopular after the Rouleau Commission, where they ratified Trudeau's invocation of the Emergencies Act, he distanced himself again from it. He's a political chameleon, but that means he's sensitive to and potentially influenced by public sentiment, as opposed to Trudeau, the liberals, who say anybody who disagrees with me is an idiot and needs to be beaten into submission. That's the difference. And I think that's a fitting description as to why the conservatives might be better, only because they're more like the kids in school who are susceptible to peer pressure. So that's that. Now, speaking of, let me just see here. Okay, so I'm reading a lot of maple. Hold on, I want to bring this up. Maple syrup. I don't like what he said about Christine Anderson. Obviously, me neither, because he thought it was politically popular to say it at the time, and he should be mocked and pressured into taking it back and realizing that Christine Anderson is not an extreme. Sorry, for anybody who doesn't know, Pierre Poilievre, leader of the Conservative Party in Canada. Christine Anderson, leader of the ADF, the Alternative für Deutschland in Germany, described as a far-right extremist. She has critique of Islam as an ideology, and you're free to dislike her for that. Pierre Poilievre told her to go home and take her extremism with her when she came to do a tour over the summer. He's an idiot, Pierre Poilievre. Sometimes he speaks and he doesn't know what he's talking about. But he can be shamed into changing policy, as he should be. I mean, he should be shamed, as should the Conservative Party, for having said what they said about Christine Anderson. She is nothing but a principled, righteous person, even if you don't have to agree with everything she says. So that's it. Okay, enough of the Canadian stuff. Let us go back to the Americas, shall we? Oh, we didn't talk about this yet. We'll get to Julian Assange afterwards. Okay, hold on. Let me just close unnecessary windows. This was the visual for the discussion on the CNN debate and the setup, but we don't need to get there anymore. SCOTUS, Pontius Pilate, the man who could have saved Jesus but didn't. Washed my hands. Nothing I could do. SCOTUS, and I know Barnes is going to say it, has pulled another Pontius Pilate. Biden versus Missouri, the case which on a factual basis had government interference, government intimidation, government coercion of social media companies. It had it documented to such a thorough degree, they got an injunction enjoining the Biden administration from directly or indirectly pressuring social media companies to censor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Went to the, I would say Fifth Circuit, but I'm not sure. And then it went to the Supreme Court, where 6-3, it was overturned on the basis that, let's see, is this it? Why was it overturned, everybody? Standing. The Supreme Court determined that the states did not have standing, nor did the individual plaintiffs, to sue the government because the damages that they alleged were prospective, future for potential censorship, such that they had no legal standing to bring the claim, or insufficient legal standing to bring the claim. Maybe there's someone else out there who has sufficient standing to bring the claim, but it wasn't the existing plaintiffs. Supreme Court Wednesday, and who was on it? There's a blistering dissent. I mean, we're all hearing the same talking points. There's a blistering dissent of Amy Coney Barrett, but it was 6-3. It wasn't even 5. I mean, whatever. We'll talk about it more on Sunday. Supreme Court on Wednesday rejected arguments by Missouri and Louisiana that the federal government violated First Amendment in its efforts to combat false, misleading, and dangerous information online. The irony is, in their attempt to combat misinformation and disinformation, they engaged in censorship of information which, over the long run, has proven to be more accurate than what they were claiming was disinformation at the time. 6-3 written by ABC or ACB. Excuse me. The court held that neither the states nor the 7 individuals who are called plaintiffs in this case were able to demonstrate any harm or substantial risk that will suffer any harm, injury in the future. Therefore, they do not have legal standing to bring the case. Plaintiffs failed to prove that social media platforms acted due to government coercion, Barrett wrote, rather than their own judgment and policies. In fact, she wrote, social media platforms began to suppress the plaintiffs' COVID-19 before the defendants' challenge communication started. It's so amazing that they've greenlit how the government can go about censoring information under the pretext of disinformation. They've greenlit it, and they've set out the blueprint to how to repeat it in the future. Plaintiffs cannot manufacture standing, Barrett wrote. Merely by inflicting harm on themselves based on their fears of hypothetical future harm is not certainly impending. The ruling overturns a lower court decision that concluded officials under President Joe Biden and Donald Trump unlawfully coerced social media companies to remove deceptive or inaccurate content out of fears it would fuel vaccine hesitancy or upend elections. Oh, in his dissent, Alito wrote that the government's actions in this case were not, quote, ham-handed. In his dissent, Justice Alito wrote that the government's actions in this case were not, quote, ham-handed censorship, end quote, that the court had routinely rejected, but were coercive and illegal all the same. It was blatantly unconstitutional, he wrote, and the country may come to regret the court's failure to say so. If a coercive campaign is carried out with enough sophistication, it may get by. That is not a message this court should send. It is exactly that message that the court has sent. You remember, it's such an amazing thing. It came out during the Taibbi Twittergate. Ooh, excuse me. It came out during the Taibbi Mehdi Hassan public debate. How did that turn out for you, Mehdi Hassan? Didn't turn out well for you, pathological liar. Where Mehdi Hassan called Matt Taibbi a liar, saying that he was lying about the influence or the interference with the Twitter files. And my nose is itchy. Hold on. Let me see. I think I brought it up. I think I have the video here. Other than trying to, yeah, this is it right here. Bada bing, bada boom. Check this out. Here, let me play this video.
There was a lack of capability around election disinformation. This is not because CISA didn't care about disinformation, but at the time they lacked both kind of the funding and the legal authorizations to go do the kinds of work that would be necessary to truly understand how election disinformation was operating. So because of the feedback and the ideas from this group, we were able to pull together pretty quickly a project between these 4 different institutions to try to fill the gap of the things that the government cannot do themselves. There was
this is the election integrity project back in the day. What was my tweet with this here? Because I know that I was laying it on thick to Mehdi the liar. Wait, donc, qu'est-ce qui se passe? He said, other than trying to discredit Matt Taibbi on an error that seems to be immaterial to the underlying point, I don't understand what else Mehdi Hassan is trying to prove here. 1, CISA was a partner of the EIP, Election Integrity Project Partnership, by their own admission. Election Integrity Partnership prepared reports of what it believed were falsehoods and submitted those reports to social media platforms. EIP was, by its own admissions, filling the gap, that's a quote, and doing what government could not do despite partnering with government agencies. 4, intelligence was meeting regularly with social media platforms, planting disinformation as relates to the election, Hunter Biden. What do you disagree with, damn it, on these points? And if you don't disagree with these points, Mehdi, do you not understand what an outrage it is? And I have the link to the thing here. What we have that the Supreme Court in the 60s, I mean, they didn't ratify it really. They're saying, oh, well, you guys didn't suffer injury. You guys lack the standing, so we don't have to adjudicate on this issue for now. And, Amy Coney Barrett basically saying, look, your damages are hypothetical, self-inflicted. Oh, you self-censored, so we don't have to address this issue anymore. I know that there has been disagreement among lawyers. Barnes often says standing is a made-up Pontius Pilate judicial precedent. It does not exist in the Constitution. It's the court's cowardly way of getting out of adjudicating on issues when they don't want to. Simply say no standing. So you don't get to make this claim. Someone else might down the line. Maybe then we'll have to deal with it. We'll let it go up the hierarchy. But for now, no. And by the way, just in time, what month are we in now? What month are we in now? June? We're getting close to July. July, August, September, October, November. 5 months to election day, people. Now the government can go ahead and go back to its surreptitious and I would dare say improper. That's not the right word. Surreptitious, insidious, and deceptive interference with social media companies. The only massive difference now than when this lawsuit was initiated, Elon Musk owns Twitter, and Chris Pavlovsky has been changing the world with Rumble. So good luck trying to do what they were doing with Twitter back in the day, censoring the Hunter Biden laptop story, having third-party NGOs do what the government can't do directly. The Supreme Court has all but ratified it, or at least facilitated it. And that's the Pontius Pilate decision of the day. Washing their hands of doing what they have to do. Here, Murdy, here we go. Let's go here. So I mean, we're not going to read the whole thing because they go through it's verbal diarrhea. This is to ensure that nobody reads this 68-page decision. The dissent is great, but they go through all of the legalities as if just fill up the pages so that nobody reads it. This is in the summary. The plaintiffs fail by and large to link their past social media restrictions and the defendants' communications with the platforms. Yeah, because it was done so insidiously. It wasn't overt coercion. It wasn't overt bribery. It's just a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Let's send the FBI to meet with Zuckerberg. The state plaintiffs, Louisiana and Missouri, refer only to action taken by Facebook against Louisiana state representatives' posts about children and the COVID-19 vaccine. But they never say when Facebook took action against the official's post, a critical fact in establishing a causal link. How about the fact that the government did it? They pressured Facebook. They pressured Zuckerberg is on freaking Joe Rogan talking about it. Oh yeah, we don't have the proverbial gun to the head, so no standing. Nor have the three plaintiff doctors established a likelihood that their past restrictions are traceable to either the White House officials or the CDC. They highlight restrictions imposed by Twitter and LinkedIn, but point only to Facebook's communications with White House officials. Why would they be having communications with White House officials? Plaintiff Jim Hoft, who runs a news website, experienced election-related restrictions on various platforms. He points to the FBI's role in the platform's adoption of hacked material policies and claims that Twitter restricted his content pursuant to these policies. Yet Hoft's declaration reveals that Twitter took action according to its own rule. Oh my, can they be freaking dense when they want to be dense? According to its own rules against posting private, intimate media without consent. Hoft does not provide evidence that his past injuries are likely traceable to the FBI or CISA. Plaintiff Jill Hines, a healthcare activist faced with COVID-19 related restrictions on Facebook. Though she makes the best showing of all the plaintiffs, most of the lines she draws are tenuous. Yeah, because we don't have the email that says, take it down or we will sick the IRS on you. Take it down or we will investigate you for whatever the heck threats they've made against Elon Musk. Plus, Facebook started targeting her content before almost all of its communications with the White House and the CDC. Wow, it's amazing how this corruption works, thus weakening the inference that her subsequent restrictions are likely traceable to government coerced enforcement of Facebook policies. Even assuming Hines can eke out a showing of traceability, the past is relevant only insofar as it predicts the future. Oh, let's see here. To obtain forward-looking relief, the plaintiff must establish a substantial risk of future injury that is traceable to the government defendants and likely to be redressed by an injunction against them. The plaintiffs who have not pointed to any past restrictions likely traceable to the government defendants are ill-suited to the task of establishing their standing to seek forward-looking relief. Can you imagine that they're going to say, we have all the facts, we have all of the reality of what government interference does in the past, present, and what it will do in the future. You guys aren't the best. Someone else. When you get someone better, maybe then we'll figure out another way. Oh, they're latches. They didn't act in time. But even Hines, with her superior showing on past harm, has not shown enough to demonstrate likely future harm at the hands of those defendants. On this record, it appears that the frequent, intense communications that took place in 2021 between the government defendants and the platforms had considerably subsided by 2022. Listen to the frequent, intense communications between government and social media. It had plateaued. It subsided by 2022 when Heinz filed suit. Thus, it is, quote, no more than conjecture, end quote, to assume that Heinz will be subject to government-induced content moderation. Well, it's a good thing they stopped beating you, because now you can't complain about the abuse. Pontius Pilate, cowards. Let me give everybody the link here. Link to decision. Bada bing, bada boom. Wow, bullshit, says Delving Thinker. Yep. I mean, say, like, I know what Barnes is going to say, and I know what bigger minds are going to say. This is now showing that a legislative remedy is necessary. So maybe you get the Thomas Masseys of the world to come in with a legislative remedy to all of this. We'll see. Now, hold on. Viva, are you aware of the Google API documentation leak? It proves Google's censorship over the 2020 election and COVID, and I believe Rumble's case against Google as well. No one outside of SEO seems to be talking about it. I can send you more information if you're interested. Well, I most certainly am. Mr. Anders Hertzberg. I'll send you an email. I'm going to screen grab this, and I'll send you an email when we're done with this stream. Let's go up to another one from locals. Get ready to fire up Barnes' rant meme. He is going to be howling mad that SCOTUS appears to have opted to get out of an important decision again, using the no standing clause. Oh, Barnes is going to blow a conniption fit. And we got Pasha Moyer. It's talking about baby in the womb. Okay. And Pasha Moyer says there are no bigger minds than Barnes. So that's it. Cowards. Certainly they were. Oh, okay, whatever. We'll see. We'll see what the decision on immunity is. There was something that I was supposed to do. That the conservative, nothing to see here. What was this? Share. Oh no. So this I think we've seen this before. Okay, I'm going to close this down. Crap! Did I just close the entire stream? Woo! I didn't. Okay. Let me try one more thing here. I'm going to try the, let's try this. I'm going to try Rumble Advertiser Center again. Bada bing, bada boom. Look at this. Let me try this here. See what's going on. Ooh, what's this? Okay, hold on. Okay, all right. Let's go down here. Okay, let's try this. We're going to see this here. Is this going to work? Hold on one second. Give me a second. I'm working through here. This. Okay, let's do this. I'm trying this here. There we go, people. Ah, yes. Okay. Now, this is a Rumble ad. So I'm running a Rumble Advertiser Center. It's amazing. And I'm running the rack, the Rumble Advertiser Center for Rumble. It's very fitting and it's very beautiful, but I'm showing everybody how this works through Rumble Studio. It's amazing. Make sure to download the Rumble app. Once you download it, search for my channel. That's Viva Frei. Search for anybody's channel for that matter. And follow the channel directly on the app. This will make sure that you get a notification every time we go live. By the way, everybody should do that. Let me just straighten my legs out here. Make sure that you've downloaded the Rumble app, but make sure that you have the notifications turned on so that you get notified. Click the link in the description or pinned live chat to download the Rumble app on your phone. It's free. If you prefer to watch us on the big screen, it is also available for Apple TV, Android TV, Fire TV, Roku, LG, and Samsung TVs. All you need to do is search for the Rumble app. The link is there. So, like, if you go, let me just see if this works right here. I'm going to go to the, oh my goodness, look at that. Look at that, people. I take a picture of that thingy thing. What's that thing called? A QR code? Brings me right to it. So that's it. A Rumble Advertiser Center ad for Rumble while I stream on Rumble and locals. That is the holy trifecta of Rumble advertising right there. Go to it. What is it called? It's the Rumble app. Go to look for the Rumble app. Screen grab that thing. It's going to be the box thing. The QR code is going to be in the chat for the rest of the stream, and it's right there. Bada bing, bada boom. Rumble Advertiser Center will revolutionize the way people do ads during streams. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Rumble. And because I'm supposed to be a parent at some point today, and I have to exercise at some point today, What do we do now? We're going to take the party to... No, we're going to end with Julian Assange. It's the news. Can you imagine? Okay. Last story of the day. Then we're going to go over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Supporters only after party. Come on over there. Let's start here. This was yesterday. I mean, it's old news now because the news cycle moves so bloody fast. If you don't jump on it the first time it comes out, you miss it. Julian Assange en route to U.S. Pacific Island after accepting U.S. plea deal as it happened. Let me refresh here because this was from... I wanted to talk about this yesterday. The live blog is now closed. For God's sake. You think I'm going to help you guys? Hells to the bells, no. All right, Julian Assange. Let me just get this here. Julian Assange plea deal. Can you imagine after torture? Which one are we going to go with here? Let's go to Al Jazeera. After torturing a man, ruining his life for over a decade, they let him out on a plea deal on a nothing charge, and he's off free to Australia. Remember everything that they did to try to get this guy because of what he did, releasing the information on U.S. war crimes in Iraq and having a hand in allegedly having a hand in Hillary Clinton getting defeated. It's amazing what happens. If you mess with Hillary Clinton, they'll go full Alex Jones on you. They will go full Julian Assange on you. WikiLeaks Assange arrives in Australia following release on U.S. plea deal. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange appeared in court in Saipan in a deal that ended a 14-year legal order. Remember they tried to get him on rape, obviously. Stealth. What do they call it? Stealthing. Popping a condom while you're having sex with a woman. That's what they tried to get him extradited on so that he can get shipped to the States. Bottom line, let me just see what he pleaded to. He pleaded guilty in court to a charge of espionage related to obtaining and publishing. Yeah, that's right. He was seeking to obtain. He pleaded guilty. Let's just see here. Okay, whatever. We'll get that. No, that's so we're on the same window here. Are we on the same window? No, we're not on the same window. You don't see what I'm looking at. Viva, get your stuff together, man. I'm on Al Jazeera, not on that thing here. Bada bing, bada boom. Get this out of here. Okay, you know what? I screwed it all up. It doesn't matter. He pleaded guilty to an insignificant charge. It's a wild thing, and I think this is not that I think it's going to come and bite Trump in the butt, but Trump could have pardoned him, and maybe it would have had an impact on 2020 because a lot of people were demanding a pardon of Julian Assange. Mike Pence. Hold on one second. Google Mike Pence Julian Assange tweet. Oh, look at this mother effer. This tells you everything you need to know about Mike Pence. Here, let's pull this up. Anybody wondering why Mike Pence didn't do what many thought he would do on January 6 or January 7? Julian Assange endangered the lives of our troops in a time of war and should have been prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. This is Trump's former VP. Better pick a better VP this time, Trump. Not saying that I have money on JD Vance, but I do because I think JD Vance is hands down the best candidate. Magnificent, all around. I like Vivek too, doesn't matter. The Biden administration's plea deal with Assange is a miscarriage of justice and dishonors the service and sacrifice of the men and women of our armed forces and their families. There should be no plea deals to avoid prison for anyone that endangers the security of our military or the national security of the United States ever. Oh, Mike Pence, you, sir, are a man of principles. I believe it's a lie that what Julian Assange did actually meaningfully endangered the lives of anybody. It's the lie that they tell you, like weapons of mass destruction. And people just repeat the line without even thinking of it. Where was the evidence that what Julian Assange did placed concrete individuals at risk? Now, I admit I'm going to be playing a little bit of the moving goalpost here. It's not true, but even if it is true, too freaking bad. I actually don't believe in, although I could be swayed, that it actually put specific people at risk, at singularly unique risk. I mean, soldiers in foreign countries on military bases in foreign countries are always at risk. So it would have had to put them at a singularly unique risk solely because of what Julian Assange did and not just because there's always risk. So I don't believe that that's true. I believe that's a talking point, much like WMDs, so that people can feel good about hating Julian Assange. But even if it is true, and I didn't say it to Mike Pence, even if it is true, if exposing criminality puts you at risk, quit being freaking war criminals. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, by exposing the collateral murder where they were knowingly killing people with journalists in the vicinity. If exposing that puts you at risk, quit committing those crimes. My goodness, exposing our corruption is really putting us at risk. People are going to hate us and want to carry out reprisals against us. My goodness, you know who else said that? The judge in the Young Thug case in Georgia. My goodness, you exposing my corruption is really putting me at risk. You go to jail now. It's not how it works, Mike Pence. It's not how it should work. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm on the side of Julian Assange not being a hero, because I don't think he's a hero. I wonder if he would do it again. It's an impossible question to answer, but he's not a villain. And I think governments would be a whole hell of a lot different, and they'd behave a whole hell of a lot differently if they were subjected to the disinfectant sunlight that all governments should be held to. If they knew that their crimes would be exposed, they might not commit crimes quite so freely. And when they criminalize people for revealing their crimes, you're not being governed, you're being ruled. It's not a democracy, it's a tyranny, and it is a corrupt tyranny at that. So Julian Assange, holy hell, 14 years and he gets to go home. How broken of a man is he going to be? There's no happy ending to that story. And you got your traitorous villains like Mike Pence. My goodness, he really exposed our crimes. What a bastard. Really put us at risk for exposing our crimes. Imagine now, people are going to hate us because they find out we've been murdering people unlawfully across the world. Okay. Do I feel any better? I'm not sure if I feel any better here. What do we got here? Let me see something here. There are no bigger brains than Barnes. Marge, I can't see it because I'm not on full screen here. Marge DIB 88 donated $25. Thank you very much, Marge. Have I gotten everything? I haven't missed anything. Viva, are you where the API got that? Get ready to fire up Barnes. Okay, I got that. Now I can't see more donations. Okay, I think we're good. So let's go over to the, it's going to be the supporters only, because in Rumble Studio, when we go there, if you are so inclined to support the channel, you can get merch at Viva Frei if you want. You can support with super chats, but YouTube takes 30% of those. You can support with Rumble Rants on Rumble, or, and this is, if you look times, if you can, and you're so inclined, $10 a month or $100 a year if you join vivabarneslaw.locals.com. It's the best community out there. Therapeutic for myself and for community. So I think it's good for all of us. And if you can't do that, snip, clip, and share is the easiest and freest way to support the channel. We're going to go over there for our after party. We'll do the rapid fire AMA. I'll take some chats and we'll have our community. And then I'm going to exercise, parent, walk a dog, squeeze a dog, the PP one. And I will see you all tomorrow. I'll be live with Pantelis during the day, and we will be live stream commentating on this debate. And let me see what Predictit says. For Doug Burgum is at 39 cents. JD Vance is at 19 cents. And Vivek Ramaswamy is down 6 cents. And Joe Biden, I have a bet that he will not be the presidential candidate, and it will be Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is back to 8 cents. And Joe Biden is at the 86%, 86-cent favorite for being the candidate. We'll see. Come on over to Locals, people. VivaBarnesLaw.locals.com. Viva Frei across the interwebs. The Viva Frei on Twitter. I'm going to end it now, and we're going to have the Locals supporters only on Locals. So I will see you in there in 5 seconds, and I'll see all of you later on the interwebs, Twitter, YouTube, Rumble, Locals tomorrow night. Go. Enjoy the day. Exercise. Eat healthy. Talk to people in real life. Sunlight, even though it's quite cloudy here in Canada. Go. I will see you. Locals, here I come.